Isaac's servants dug a well, found their well of fresh water, and the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, "This is water is ours." So he called the name of that well Esek, because they involved themselves with him. So the first well they tried to dig, and then there was a little like quarrel over it. So he named the well after that quarrel, which is Esek, which means like to be involved. He was involved. They were involved with these herdsmen there, and it wasn't an easy like digging of the well. Then there's a second well that's mentioned, and this is even a harder situation. They dug another well. They quarreled over that also, so they called it named Sidna. So this is really Sidna is like more intense. It's like less. It's like a satan, like an impediment. It's like a harder quarrel. So it's not just involvement, but it's a quarrel. And they named the second well after that. And there's a third well which worked out nicely. He waited from there, and they dug another well. They did not quarrel over it, so he called his name Rechovot and said, "For now Hashem has granted us ample space." So Rechovot means Rechovot is Rachav, which means space, spacious. So just to sum up, him and his servants they undug certain wells that his father actually dug a long time ago. And these three wells that we're focusing here on have three names. The first one's Esek, which means involvement. The second one is Sidna, which means kind of quarreling. And the third one is Rechovot, which means expansive spaces. So the question is, why are you teaching us about these three wells? And what can you teach us for our lives? So Ramban says this hints to the three temples. The first two temples, there was some quarreling, there was some involvement. The third temple, God willing, will work out great for us, be expansive, etc. So he says that in the commentary here in the article. I want to offer another thought on this. And I think this points to like a proper orientation to Torah. So when we're digging up the wells of Torah, I think this might be symbolic of Torah. Like when you're trying to get to the depths of the Torah of your forefathers, the wells of your forefathers, you're trying to dig them up and kind of access that deep Torah. There's different types of Torah that you're going to be exposed to. One type might be that you're heavily involved with it. It's an esek, meaning you might not understand it properly. It's beyond you. So you're kind of constantly involved with it, trying to figure it out. Another text that you might come across, you might struggle with. You have to be honest about that. You might have like a little quarreling with it. Not saying you're against it, but like you struggle with it. And so that would be maybe the Sitna type of well. It's the very Torah that not that you just don't understand them, you struggle with. Then there's the third type, which is obviously the ideal type, which is Rechovot, which you really connect to, you love. Like you want to spend as much time in that space as possible. It's ample space. It's very spacious and great. And so I think this is important for learners of Torah to know that our ideal obviously is to get to that third place. And afterwards, right after that third one, there's a blessing. It says, God came to him and appeared to him and says, "I'm with you, I will bless you and increase your offspring." Meaning that's the ideal, to have that third type of, you're going to sometimes come across other types of texts. And it's okay as an observant Jew to know. So there's going to be texts you're not going to understand. There's going to be texts that are going to be difficult, that you're going to struggle with. And that's okay. Hopefully they'll move as much to the third option as possible. But as an observant Jew, you're going to come across different texts. And it's okay to make peace with the fact that you're not always going to connect with them. And sometimes you might struggle with them as well. Ideally, in the ideal world, we'll move as close as we can to the third type, but the other ones exist as well.